featured groups. They have been announced for this week's 3M Open. The defending champion, Matt Wolff, will be teeing it up alongside Max Homa and Brandon Grace, while Dustin Johnson, Tony Finau, and Tommy Fleetwood will all be teeing it up in a marquee trio. How about world number 6, Brooks Koepka, who will play with Keith Mitchell and Charles Howell III. Koepka met with the media yesterday, where he was asked about how important it was to have a good finish this week as he builds momentum for the big events ahead. Take a listen.
I just need to play good. I've played so bad lately. Just trying to find things every week. I feel like it's, the results aren't there, but it's getting better and better. My good shots are good, but I just got to bring that bottom level up. I've hit some real costly shots. I seem to miss it short-sided every time, and that's been kind of the downfall of why I haven't played well. I missed it in very costly spots, and just trying to figure out why that is. And if I can bring the misses up, I'll be fine.
Brooks, what's the status of your knee? How are you feeling going into this week?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Sunday was the best my knees felt in a really long time. I've worked with my physio, Mark Wall, quite a bit on and over the week. I don't know. It was the first course we've played where it's actually been hilly. Going downhill, it bugged me a little bit. Uphill's fine. And that was the hilliest golf course we played. So to have 2 weeks back-to-back, I didn't think it was that bad. But, obviously having an MRI on Monday of Memorial Week, just to kind of see where things were at. And, it really hasn't progressed, but it feels a lot better. Just walking downhill is a pain. It's where that patellar extends, and just had to adjust kind of going down hills. But that Sunday was the best it's felt. So it feels good right now. I don't see it being an issue. Got my trainer coming in he's helped worked on it quite a bit over the past 8 months, and I think it'll be just fine. It's not an excuse of why I've been playing bad. I can promise you that.
You can always count on Brooks Koepka for an honest account of where he's at, Robert. But if we look at his 2 finishes over the last few weeks at Muirfield Vintage, he missed the cut at the workday. Then he finished tied for 62nd last week at the Memorial with that final round 80 on Sunday. Now, we heard him say there, it's not because of the knee. He's not one to be using that as an excuse. He says it's not affecting his play, but obviously the results aren't quite there. So it could happen any week, let's be honest. But how close do you feel like he is to getting back into the winner's circle?
Well, it'd be tough to use the knee as an excuse when you shoot 80 on the round where you say it felt the best it's felt in months. Close to the winner's circle, frankly, he's not. He said he's been playing bad and been struggling and making bad mistakes. But when he does win again, it's probably going to be with no warning whatsoever. That's just how good he is. And that's frankly the way he's always played. He's never been the model of consistency. He's always had trouble playing well or getting things going until he just somehow does in the biggest events. And then maybe also the way he said that his good shots have been getting better, but his bad shots are still kind of dumb bogeys. That almost gets to be habit, making dumb bogeys, short-sighting yourself, because you want to get back into playing well. You want to get back to who you were. So maybe you hit shots that are a little too aggressive and you force yourself into bogeys. So maybe just a touch of patience, and it could happen any given week for Brooks, but it just doesn't seem like he's playing well enough now.
Yeah, it seems like he's had a little bit of a difficult time gaining any sort of momentum coming back into play. And if you do remember, he did have a great week at RBC. In fact, he led the field strokes off the tee. He was sixth in approaching to the green or greens in regulation. And he was able to pick apart that golf course. Well, any of the momentum that he may have gained that week was then lost when he had to withdraw due to his caddy getting a positive test for the COVID-19. When you think about him even coming back, he was coming back with a different caddy. He's now taking MRIs in between tournament weeks. There's been a little bit of a lack of any semblance of normal for Brooks Koepka, I think, in his return to golf. So where the knee may not be his excuse, there may be just a general lack of rhythm kind of coming back, considering everything that he's dealt with since he's returned.
Yeah, Brooks is confronting this like an athlete. He's not making excuses. He's saying, I just have to play better. And I love his honesty. And I thought his attitude actually was more positive than you'd expect when you consider the results. But we're still talking about this knee, and we've been talking about it going on almost a year now. And I think that's something that we can't ignore. He says, yeah, it felt better than it has in months, but still sounds like it doesn't feel 100%. The fact that he can still feel it walking down the hill on certain golf courses. And when you're an athlete that's, you're used to dealing with injury, but obviously there's something's not right. The engine isn't humming the way that it was when he was knocking out everybody at Bethpage Black and Belle Reve and Shinnecock and Erin Hills and Memphis. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of his last victory as well. So like you said, there's just a lot going on. There's a lot there that's not making this engine hum the way that it normally does.
Yeah, it seems as though the knee might be more of a distraction than anything. And maybe it's even subconscious. It's maybe not something that he thinks is a problem, but the fact that he's dealing with it and other players he's competing against are not, may be a distraction. But going back to the original question, which is how close is he? I think you can still find a lot of positives in what he has been able to do. Even the missed cut at Muirfield Village at the workday, he birdied 6 of his last 10 holes coming into the end of the day on Friday. You still see these moments. So I agree with Robert when he says that it may just be coming out of the blue, that you don't have to expect to see Brooks Koepka trending to expect a win necessarily.
We saw it with Dustin Johnson. Perhaps we'll see it with Brooks Koepka as well. He was also asked yesterday whether he'd considered taking the rest of the season off just to get fighting fit again. And he said he thought about it for a split second, but he's not a quitter. And we know that about Brooks Koepka. He's a fighter, and I'm sure he'll fight his way back to the top of his game.